Hey, what's up, family? So, I've been MIA for a few days, and I just wanted to come on real quick and just check in with the family, see what's going on, you know, share an update on, my side of what's going on with me. So, I just been living like I won the lottery, and be trying to put y'all on so we can all be in this boat together on how to live this way and live in this energy, the new 5D, new earth energy that is people are awakening to and coming online with. And, you know, I'll submit to you, it's a spiritual thing. It's not really something that you can perceive from your human mind. You have to tap into the spiritual side of your brain. It's probably that part of your brain that they try to convince us was the part that we don't use. Yeah, that part of your brain probably houses what allows you to use and interact spiritually in the spiritual realm, like your spiritual senses. We have our physical senses that allow us to interact and maneuver in the physical realm. But I'll submit that that other side of your brain that they say we don't use, or that we use a very limited amount of, holds the capacity for you to, maneuver and operate in the spiritual realm, which, anything that happens in the physical realm has to happen in the spiritual realm first. So it behooves us to be able to, have that ability to maneuver in the spiritual realm so that we can create what we want to create, so that it can filter down from the spiritual realm into the physical realm. So, like I said, I've been living life like I hit the lottery, like I won the lottery, literally won the lottery. Why can't I say the lottery? I've been living life like I won the lottery, living Lavida, Loca. And I'm going to say that it's all because, I did the work to raise my vibration. I did the work to be able to activate my spiritual senses and to maneuver in the spiritual realm so that I can bring down what it is I wanted to manifest in the physical realm. After so many years of, turmoil and just having to fight, having to struggle, having battle after battle after battle after battle, seemingly just relentlessly, at a certain point, I had to stop and figure out, like, what in the hell is going on? Like, why is life so damn complicated and full of so much conflict, and full of so much sadness and depression? Like, I grew up in the projects, I grew up in the hood, and it was pretty much frowned upon if you were too happy or walked around with too much joy. Like, you can't go to school, you can't go to junior high school and be too happy, because then people think that you a weirdo, or like you got to fit into this box. Growing up in the hood, growing up in the projects, that's all I can really vouch for, because I don't know how it was otherwise. But growing up in the hood, you had to fit in a box in order to be in with the cool, with the cool clique, so to speak, or to be accepted and to not be an outcast and considered, a weirdo. If you were too happy and you had too much, quirk in you, then you would be considered an outcast. And who in their adolescent and teen years wants to be an outcast? Like, it's so, we're raised from childhood to fit in. Our parents are grooming us and shaping us to fit in, to be accepted by society, to have these societal norms. Wear this, talk like this, wear your hair like this, present yourself like this. Everything is to be accepted by society. So, when you get to middle school and high school, You don't want to be rejected. You don't want to fit into the category of reject. So you do what you do, play the game, and basically stay inside the box that was created for you, that you were shown and trained to be in by your parents. And they were trained to be in a box. And their parents were trained to be in a box. And it just continues to go on and on and on. But I submit to you that I said, fuck that box. And I broke out of the box. And I've always been like that at the core and root of who I am. I've always been, one to question things and one to, okay, just because that's the norm, is it right? Does it make it right? After all, slavery was the norm, but is it right? Was it right? So yeah, I was like, fuck that box, and I'm gonna do shit and figure shit out on my own. And so that's what I had to do when it comes to spirituality, because I've always had this draw to spiritual, to spiritual knowledge. And religion, I delved into Christianity, the Islamic faith, Buddhism. I've tried to inform myself as much as I could about different spiritual systems and different organized religions. That way I can make an informed decision on which direction I wanted to go. And it was just too many contradictions for me, too many contradictions. So that's why I was like, well, let me go within. That's the last place that I haven't been to search for the truth. Let me go within and see what I can find within. And that's when the whole world of deep spirituality, deep metaphysics, esoteric knowledge started to unfold, unlock, and blossom in my life. And it's like my life just took a whole different trajectory out of that depression and darkness and sadness, and feeling like I was doomed to a life of lack and poverty and just taking what I can get, and struggle and having to strive and fight, and all of that programming that comes with just being a part of society. You always have to struggle and fight and move and gain this milestone and reach this goal and get more degrees and get more money and get. Like, there's another way. You know what I mean? There's another way, but it's not made known to us because it's hidden in the spiritual realm. And we're not taught about the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm is the realm of the unseen, and you can only navigate that realm with your third eye and with your spiritual senses. So our ancestors were taught to fear that realm at some point, because at some point they were absolute masters of the spiritual realm. Our ancestors that built those pyramids, they were masters of the spiritual realm. What do you mean? Like, they had spiritual knowledge that these people today have no clue about. Ancient science, ancient spirituality, ancient, energy mastery. So anyway, I say all that to say, I feel like I've had a breakthrough, after so many years of like struggling, so many years in the darkness. Now I'm finally able to come out into the light. I've had a breakthrough. And that breakthrough for me, from My experience, my trial and error has only come through unlocking the spiritual side of my brain. That part that they say we don't use. Activating my spiritual senses. That way I'm completely in alignment and in harmony with what is available to me in the third dimension. Being comprising of mental, physical, and spiritual, which you don't see, what's inside, spiritual realities, realms. You got the mental, physical, spiritual realm. 3 dimensions. So yeah, that's how I was able to have my breakthrough. And unfortunately for me, religion was not bringing me to that path. Religion was keeping me from that path of a breakthrough, because it was taught in like a literal sense. And that's what messed everything up for me, because it was taught in a literal sense. And yeah, they tell you, you got to have discernment. Because if you have discernment, then you can be led by the text, by the scrolls. Which, okay, I'm open and I have grace for that. And, I'm not closed off to that at all. But the thing that I get tripped up on is the fact that the texts have been rewritten, remixed, watered down for these people to do what they want, to follow a narrative that's just based on lies, like, to control, have control. And I don't know, I just have a hard time with the Bible and with organized religion, because man's hands have, man's carnal and greedy hands have contaminated the text to basically, for their own gain, for their personal gain, for their power, for their greed, you know what I'm saying? So it's been contaminated in a way. And yeah, I agree, you do have to have discernment, because there are a lot of things that are in the Bible that I do resonate with, you know what I'm saying? That I can feel in my spirit are true. But again, there's always that part of me, the human part of me, I guess you can say, that looks from the sideline like, I don't know. I don't know. This joint is just too much manipulation that has happened within it. So anyway, so I teeter, back and forth with that. That is a little spiritual versus physical battle that I am caught in when it comes to the Bible. But just been out here enjoying life, man. Just like I won the lottery, I'm trying to tell you. And that's why I be trying to, I'm not, like I'm going to say it forever, I'm not a gatekeeper, you know what I'm saying? I want everybody to be able to know this way, know that there is another way, know that there is another way that exists, because we have only been taught one way, and that's through religion. And that's not the only way. That's not the only way to find heaven on earth. And when, the text talks about there will be a new heaven and a new earth, this is here and now. People are literally waiting for Yeshua, for Jesus to come back. That's why I say I have a problem with religion, because religion presents things so literal. It doesn't present things in a spiritual aspect because people's spiritual minds have been turned off. This second coming of Yeshua is consciousness. It's spiritual. It's not literal, and it's here right now. This is the way. This is the way that Yeshua tried to share, but his message got hijacked. His message got hijacked and remixed and watered down, but this is the way. You know, the new heaven and the new earth is emerging now. I'm talking about we're right in the middle of it. The transition, the change. The old system is breaking down now. The new earth is here now. But she's super baby young. She's expanding herself. But she's here now. And the only way you can tap into it is spiritually. That's the only portal into it. That's the only gateway into the new heaven and the new earth. You have to shed and die to your old self. Just like Yeshua did. Yeshua showed us, in the death and rebirth, the 3 days that, or that whole period, that transformational period that he went through, and he died for 3 days and resurrected. It's called upon us to die and resurrect as well. We die to our old selves and resurrect into our new self. And this is a spiritual death and spiritual transformation. This ain't physical and literal. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put my mouth on the text and speak where I don't know, or speak where I wasn't there to see. But my spiritual intuition tells me there was no literal hanging on the cross death. Yeshua went through and taught us to go through a spiritual death, a physical death, a shedding of our lower self, of our ego, of our shadow, of our negative thoughts, of our carnal ways. A shedding. It's a spiritual death so that you can transcend into your higher self. Transcend into that part of you that can experience heaven on earth. So that you can sound just like me and be like, bruh, I feel like I hit the lottery. I'm out this joint living my best life. And don't even think that, it's just because you retired and blah, blah, blah. Nah. Because if I knew then what I know now, I would have started this a whole hell of a lot long ago. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people be trying to put off their happiness and put off their this and their that, their joy until they, I'm going to be happy when I meet somebody, or when I get into a relationship, or when I get this promotion, or when I graduate college, or when it's always a delay. We always got to wait for something to be happy. No, that's available to us now, because this is our birthright. This is the energy that we were created to embody and enjoy. The birthright of feeling abundant, of feeling happy, of having beautiful and amazing experiences, of being balanced, of living in harmony, of having peace, of knowing how to embody peace in the midst of chaos. Cutting out all toxicity, cutting out your lower nature, cutting it out, ascending above it, transcending it, coming out of darkness into the light. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So that's why I don't be really posting that much, cause and this goes back to even before I even came back. Like that whole break that I was on, I'm just trying to like going within spiritually, trying to figure things out. And just delving deeper and deeper into the spiritual realm, because all I've known up until maybe 5 or 10 years ago was the physical realm. You know what I mean? And it's probably longer. I think I had my awakening in 2012. So yeah, 2012. So it's been a little minute, about 13 years. But yeah, it's just the new earth is here, family. This new 5D energy is here. And it's nobody's coming to save you. I'm just saying, like, our ancestors, our grandparents, they waited and thought that somebody was coming. But nobody's coming. It's up to us. It's up to us to go within and to unlock these spiritual gifts that we have. Unlock these blessings. Unlock this lottery that we have waiting inside of us on the spiritual side. Unlock heaven on earth. All right, family. So, look, I just want to say thank you to everybody who taps in and is rolling with me and is patient, even during my times of not posting. I appreciate you. Always know that I'm good. I'm just out here living and enjoying life. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing a lot of just kind of creative projects. Like I was in an art class yesterday. I'm doing like some sewing lessons, crochet lessons, just doing a lot of things that, bring me joy and happiness, because those things keep my vibration raised really high. And by my vibration being high, I can always stay in alignment with the new earth energy, with the new earth frequencies, so that I can feel them. New earth is a feeling. It's spiritual. Remember, spiritual is the unseen. You only tap into the spiritual without your 5 senses on the 3D senses. You can't feel the new earth and maneuver the new earth with your physical senses. It has to be your sixth sense. Your sixth senses. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments, and yeah, I'll holler at you later in the next one. Mwah. Love and bless. Bye.